This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. Nick Chubb is obviously a special player, and obviously, no matter how you feel about his ability to return, I think it's fair until he proves it otherwise to put Nick Chubb in the top 5 of this team. He would have been in the top 3 if he wasn't coming back from an ACL injury. The fact that he's coming back from an ACL injury does push him all the way back to 5. But I think Nick Chubb has the potential to swing this team in a positive direction with his health and his ability to play as much as anybody in this top 5. If you notice, Deshaun Watson is not in this top 5 because, again, with Deshaun Watson, we don't know what he's going to be. It's kind of in this weird in-between point where we just got to see more out of him. With Nick Chubb, that's not the question. We're wondering if he can come back from this ACL injury, but we know Nick Chubb to be somebody who has come back from an ACL injury before. And more importantly, we know Nick Chubb to be special. How special? Let's look at the film. Be honest here. A film breakdown on Nick Chubb seems like something that is naturally redundant. I don't think a lot of people need it to be explained to them in film that Nick Chubb's good. There's not a lot of convincing arguments to say that he's not good, right? So there's not much that the film can say. But what we can understand with Nick Chubb isn't about his individual greatness. We see that with the numbers that he puts up, combined with the in-game impact, combined with what we see on game days. But what we need to put in context is just how much this team missed Nick Chubb and how much Nick Chubb makes up for a lot of little mistakes that are made along the offensive line. Let's look at some film. This is against the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? There's only limited film to look at with Nick Chubb from last year. Let's look at this carry by Nick Chubb as an example, right? This is the example of just what he allows you to do. He allows you to really win big on these counter plays. So this is kind of a counter run that the Browns are doing. They're showing a little bit that they're going to run towards, let's call it the C gap. But what they're really doing is letting Nick Chubb cut downhill and make a choice here at the point of attack. So Nick Chubb could go at the C, but he also has the option to go back down B gap. And if you see, they have a nice plan here with David Njoku to take care of the linebacker that's hovering over B gap. Now, David doesn't really stick this block. But there is a plan for him to be there. I think the same plan, or at least there is a plan for either Jed or the running back to get upfield too to handle Highsmith. But I think 34 was just going to be in that gap just because of how the play is slanted, right? So Nick Chubb, because he's special, can just put his foot in the ground and do this counter cut here. So smooth at the size that he's at. And then that is what makes Nick Chubb special. Nick Chubb is fast, but he's not the fastest. Nick Chubb is strong, and he might be the strongest. So he also has that. But what Nick Chubb also does really well is move great in a phone booth. And this is what we're going to look at when he comes back, if he's still able to do this. Look at how he just navigates it. It feels like there's so much more space here than there actually is because of how smoothly Nick Chubb's able to operate in it, right? And that takes a run. And where did the ball start? Let's see where the ball started here. That takes a run that, see, it starts on that 5. This run with a normal running back, boom, about 2-yard gain, right? Probably get wrapped up here. Maybe they push for 3 if they're special. Nick Chubb takes that 2-yard gain and carries it to a, 8-9-yard gain. That's what so many of the runs that we saw Pierre Strong have last year, so many of the runs that we saw Jerome Ford have last year, we're going to end at 2 or 3 yards, right? Because this is what a normal back is capable of. The play wasn't perfect. David Njoku doesn't seal. Linebacker gets through. Okay, that's a tough move to ask a running back to do because, again, it's not just the cut. It's 2 cuts, right? So he cuts here, boom, recovers, cuts again, boom, gets upfield, and then still has the strength while recovering from a cut, right? Boom, to hold that and then carry. That's not normal running back stuff. Again, that takes a 2 to 3 yard run to a 9 yard run. Imagine the difference. That was just a pretty mundane play by Nick Chubb, too. Imagine the difference that makes over a 17-week period. Well, not 17, but 16-week period. Think about that. Here's Nick Chubb again, just the stutter step. The footwork is just phenomenal for Nick Chubb. I think not enough people talk about it. Right, look at this little stutter setup. And what this allows Nick Chubb to do is wait for this block to clear. Right? Nick Chubb is not just great at seeing what's being done by his offensive lineman. He's great at setting up his offensive lineman and his tight ends to be in a position to assist him. He is like a marionette, right? He's able to pull the strings on the offensive line to manipulate them where they need to be, because there's a lot of running backs, and we saw Pierre Strong and Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford do this, where they get that hole, eyes get big. You see the 2 butts facing each other. That's how you look at zone running, right? You see 2 butts facing each other. You go through that gap. They would have saw that and just sprinted down this gap and would have got stopped for what, maybe 4 or 5 yards here. But again, Nick Chubb just does that little hezzy, right? He's like, okay, David's got him. I just need David to get time to move him, right? So he lets him move him, which opens that wide up. And then boom, he puts a move on this guy. And because he's Nick Chubb, he's able to turn that into 10 yards. Another play where Nick Chubb or a normal running back gets 3 yards. But Nick Chubb, he gets 10 yards, damn near a first down. Just think about the difference that made on the Browns offense. It's something that shocks me that a lot of people haven't jumped to. I know we're so focused on Deshaun Watson that everybody is intent on making Deshaun Watson the X factor for the Cleveland Browns, and for good reasons. Deshaun plays quarterback. But we cannot ignore the X factor that is Nick Chubb to this offense, because he's not just a good running back. He is a great running back. He's able to turn routine plays that would have been 2-3 yards, you would have even noticed them on game days with any other running backs, into 10-yard gashes on a regular basis. This is what Nick Chubb does. Let's see what he does here. Just again, man. Again, look at this shit, man. All right, I feel like the dude from the Marshawn Lynch video. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you an old YouTube head, you know what I'm talking about. But look at this shit, man. Look. This is such a massive factor the Browns did not have in their offense because he got hurt 5 quarters into the season. Like, it is a giant thing that the Browns are getting back. Look at this, man. How many times do we see Pierre Strong get tripped up by that, or Kareem Hunt or Jerome Ford not make the cut, or Kareem Hunt run right into the back of like Wyatt Teller instead of make this play? How many times did we see it last year? I looked at the film. You looked at the film. I'm rewatching the season. I see it all the time, right? But with Nick Chubb, he not only sees it, but look at the contact balance. It's like this dude never happened. Is that Minka? Yeah, it's Minka. And Minka trying to do something, he just away from him. And then look, these are linebackers in the NFL. Can't do a damn thing about him, right? And he just goes head first. And that don't even do, he's like a wall, a moving fast wall with great vision, great feet, can move like. I think because Nick Chubb is quiet, and maybe, there's this meme on Twitter where it's like, oh, if he hit the gritty every time he get a first down, maybe people would like respect him. But seriously, like if Nick Chubb had like a signature touchdown celebration, or he like had more of a bombastic personality off the field or anything like that, I feel like we would appreciate this stuff more, because all you hear about people talk about Nick Chubb is that he is strong. And that is only part of the equation. Yeah, Nick Chubb's strong, but he has great feet, great vision, right? So here's where it all comes together. Again, let's look at this. So the great feet, the strength, right? It comes here at the beginning. Boom. Minka can't do nothing about him. But why does that strength matter? Why is he in a position to use that strength? Because of his feet and his vision, right? A lot of running backs would have just crashed into that B gap right there. We've seen this so many times because that's where the play's supposed to go, right? You could tell the play's supposed to go there because because Joel and Ethan are climbing here, right? So look at the center. The center is he goes inside shoulder on 57, and then he's trying to climb to that linebacker to set up this run play. That's where that run play is supposed to go. It's supposed to go B gap. But Nick Chubb has great feet and great vision. So he sees that, boom, great instincts. He changes his mind. He says, I'm going to flip this run. And then he has the feet to be able to do it. And because he has great contact balance and he's strong, he's able to just whiff off that defender. Now here we get to the acceleration of Nick Chubb, right? Dead to rights. If you look at this right here, dead to rights. That linebacker has the angle, but he's Nick Chubb. He blows through that angle. Look at that shit. You don't end up on the ground as a linebacker in the NFL unless you thought you had the angle and you didn't, right? Just blows that angle by. 54 ends up in the dirt. And then you see the strength and the speed of Nick Chubb here, where he gets a 10-yard head start on that safety. Ain't no way you're going to knock him backwards after that. That's where it all comes together with Nick Chubb. Again, we can look at it from this angle. You can see where the play is supposed to go, right? Ethan, and then he's looking to climb. He can't climb because 57's doing a good job restricting him, but you see he's trying to climb because that's where the play is supposed to go. Nick's vision cuts that play there. Because he has incredible feet and acceleration, he's able to just get to full speed right here to the point where Minka just misses him. He ain't even touch him. Ooh, Houdini, right? And then Quan Alexander thought he had the angle. No, you don't, sir. Nick Chubb is too fast for that. You fly off of him. Okay. Now 23, like, I'm going to put him down. Nah, dog, nah. You're lucky he fell. Because he could recover and run from that, because that's who he is. This is what makes him a special player. He's able to put so many different talents together. And this is something that happens with players in general in the NFL, where we kind of give them one trait and say that's all they do. Like with Tyreek Hill, he's just fast. But that's not ever the case with a star level player like Nick Chubb or anybody in the NFL. There's a number of tools that they have that allows them to use the thing that they're special for, right? But you got to get to that point. There's a lot of strong guys who play running back in the NFL. They're not all Nick Chubb, because Nick Chubb has the right combination of special talents. Look at that vision. Look at this. This should have gone nowhere. But instead, it ends up being a big game. This should have probably, like Pierre Strong, I'm telling you right now, he going to run right into the back of that dude and trip and fall. This is a loss of 3 yards. Jerome Ford, he going to run right into that play. It's going to be a loss of 3 yards. Kareem Hunt might make that cut and go straight downfield. You're going to get about 5 yards. And then who else did we have running the ball last year in that peanut gallery? And no disrespect to him, it just was a little bit of a mess here. And the reason Nick Chubb is such a difference maker is, look at this, man. He has the vision, and look at this tight cut he has to make here, right? And good job on Wyatt to move him, right? That's trust. So Wyatt moves him, he makes that cut. Now it's a new run play. All he has to worry about is Quan Alexander and TJ Watt meeting at the point of attack to tackle him. It does not matter. Look, Quan Alexander gets a little bit of that towel, but TJ gets his whole hip and he ain't doing shit with it. That's strength, right? So again, let's see how he puts the tools together. Elite vision, sees that this is not going the way he wants it to. So he's quick enough to react to that, has the feet to allow him to be as quick as he is mentally. So feet, body, boom. All right. Now he has the acceleration to come from a full plant, cut, stop, right? Plant, cut. He has to restart here. It's a new running motion, right? Cut, plant. Now he has to accelerate again. Because he has elite acceleration and elite strength, he's able to accelerate with like 300 pounds of human on his ass. He just runs through it. Then he accelerates again. And boom, right into somebody's chest. This is what elite running back play looks like. There's a lot of good running backs out there, but outside of maybe Christian McCaffrey because of the versatility he offers as a wide receiver, there is not a running back with more unique traits than Nick Chubb when it comes to running the football. This man was born to do this. Like he is as gifted at running the football as Myles Garrett is at rushing the passer. And we all know how gifted Myles Garrett is at rushing the passer. Nick Chubb is the same thing, but for running backs. Like if you look at Myles Garrett and you say, hey, that's what God intended a pass rusher to look like. You have to look at Nick Chubb and think the same thing, but for running backs. That's what a running back is supposed to look like. That is the traits that you hope a running back has, because this is what makes a running back from somebody that is that plays a disposable position that's relying on the offensive line to somebody that is a big enough game changer to shift your fortunes in the season. Not all running backs are the same. And when you talk about a dude who's capable of this, like we talk about regular running backs like Najee Harris, it pisses me off. Why? Because Najee ain't doing this. Not all running backs deserve the same rules. This is why some running backs should get paid, because obviously this is a game-changing trait that he has here. It's not just one thing. Nick Chubb has all the traits of an elite running back. That's film breakdown. Let's get back to the video. Nick Chubb is one of one. I said it in the film breakdown. I'll say it again with my chest out. He's as special at the running back position as Myles Garrett is at edge rusher. He is as athletically gifted at the running back position to run the football as Myles Garrett is athletically gifted to rush the passer. The same way Myles got all them gifts, same way Nick Chubb got all them gifts. It is there for Nick Chubb, and he will make a huge difference to this team. You're talking about somebody who can make a regular 2-3 yard carry turn into a first down on a regular basis. This is somebody who changes the outlook of your season. This is somebody who changes the outlook of your offense. This is somebody who changes the efficiency of your offensive line. He's a huge game changer. And to me, it's head scratching that so many national pundits have forgotten that this is the game changer that the Browns are getting back, or have chosen to neglect it in this attempt to kind of sleep on Nick Chubb because of the injury. The injury was horrific. The injury was gruesome, but Nick Chubb is the caliber of player where you don't think that he's not capable until he demonstrates that on the field. And Nick Chubb has not demonstrated any lack or any decline when he's on that football field. So until I see it, I'm going to go with Nick Chubb being Nick Chubb. And when Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb, he's not just one of the most impactful running backs in football. He's one of the most impactful offensive players in the entire sport. He's more impactful than, and you know what? I'm just going to say it. He's more impactful than a lot of dudes getting paid $30 million to play wide receiver. Hell, he's more impactful than some dudes getting paid $30 million to play quarterback. He's a very impactful player when he's out there. A game changer, a franchise level player. And he deserves that respect. And that's why Nick Chubb is at number 5.